call is now being recorded.
Yo, yo.
Yo.
We're in the building, Channel 10 Podcast. I just want to let you know today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com, where you can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/channel10. You have over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, your Android, your Kindle, or your MP3 player. So go to audibletrial.com/channel10 and sign up today. Also, to support our podcast, you guys can go to channel10podcast.com and click on the link to our Amazon portal. There's a nice little link at the top to where if you want to order something from Amazon, if you just click on that link and it'll take you right to Amazon.com. But if you go and you click through our link, we get a little commission off of your purchase at no cost to you, and we would greatly appreciate you doing that.
Feeling is here.
Yeah, son, you feel it, man. What up, son? You gotta just do it, yo. Yo, what up, man? It's a different channel, son. What up, on, man? What up? Watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man.
It's all good.
What up? All good, baby, in every hood, son. What up, yo? CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, it's grown men. Bold face, gat in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cast more beef than Scarface. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, that's grown men. Bold face, gat in your face. Stay in place.
This call is now being recorded.
So, now that that's out of the way, how you been, man?
I've been alright, man. How about yourself?
Man, I'm just maintaining through the stresses and struggles of life and everything like that. Dealing with getting sick and car issues and all of that. But I'm here in the building.
Alright, don't forget about the skin bleaching cream.
Oh yeah,
Dodging that.
cream. Matter of fact, I posted that up on the Instagram. You can check it out at Instagram.com/channel10podcast. I was in the Family Dollar at the Alameda Shopping Center on the east side, and I was going because my girl recommended that I get some black soap from there. I didn't even know they sold black soap at Family Dollar, but there's a brand called Ambi, A-M-B-I, so I'm looking for it. I find it, but right next to it, I see skin bleaching cream. I was like, oh, I never thought I would see this in America, but here it is, right here in the hood. Get your skin lighter.
So that was your first time seeing skin bleaching cream ever, physically?
Yeah, that was my first time just seeing it. It just said it right on the box, skin bleaching cream. I had to take a picture. I fucked my head up for a second, like.
Damn, man, like. Sometimes, like, I've never seen it physically before, because I realized that after you sent me that picture. But I wonder like what company that was, and I wonder what would happen like if you just write them a letter or something asking them why do they have skin bleaching cream, and if they will respond.
That's a good. I wonder if they've gotten any like protests or things like that. Let me see. I have to go back and look and see what the name of the company is. But yeah, I definitely want to reach out and see what's really good with this. Bleaching cream with hydroquinone for a smooth, even complexion tone in a convenient tube.
What type of shit is that? This is, man. We've been here since 1619. Well, slaves came here in 1619, but goddamn. Yeah, I'm about to say, man, we know they came before Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
But God, like really, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy and kind of scary to think about. Like, I was thinking if I ever see it, if I would like just buy it just to buy it, but I'm afraid that maybe it'll burn through the tube and get on my hand or some shit. I mean, I'm kind of serious when I say this.
I mean, like, I'm just, I would just be concerned about, I guess, I don't really know anybody around there, but it's like, for me to get that, what people would think. But at the same time, like the way it was in the display case or like in the shelf, like you could see that they had spaces for it, and they had 2 rows of it. And one of the rows only had 2 left, and the other one only had 1 left. So I think people are buying it.
Wow. Now, I have 2 more questions because now I'm wondering. Okay, what would happen if a white person uses it? That's one thing, and the second thing is, we've talked about skin bleaching and with Movado and certain other people, and how my bad, Bob's Cartel, and how how their skin wasn't even, and maybe it's because they were only using one fucking tube when they need more. Obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you were to do something like that, I would think that, of course, a lot of people who want to get splink, want to use this type of stuff, they're using it for a certain reason, so they probably don't have this type of access. But if you were to do it, I would think that you would want to do it under a doctor's care and all of that. But if you feel like you don't have any other option to advance or to, make your life better, you see skin bleaching, you're just going to do that shit. Like, especially now, the whole, I like a long head, thick red bone, just the way the colorism is promoted in hip hop. And, how it's reinforced. Even, you would think in 2015 that, this type of thing would be kind of passe, but it seems like it's stronger than ever. And, that whole thing about, when they had the girl in the court or whatever, that study that they did, like which doll is beautiful, and they always pick the light one or the white one or whatever.
Yeah.
To the point where now I think now they're making Barbies in 6 different skin tones or something like that.
I'm not really mad at that. It seems like if anything, there would be, a much more, a larger spectrum of colors for Barbie dolls anyway, to reflect the culture that the person was buying it comes from.
Yeah, and it's important for kids to see themselves reflected as images of mainstream beauty. And, I guess now it's a good thing that kids are getting that a little bit more. Kids of every skin tone are getting it a little bit more to where they can look and see, what the standard image of beauty that they're programming into people is these days, and see people that, resemble them at least a little bit. I think that's if not a self-esteem booster, at least a self-esteem maintainer, at least on the subconscious level.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this idea of mainstream beauty, what you just said, and in the midst of everything that's been going on, South Carolina, Ferguson, Baltimore, so on and so forth. Like another thing of mainstream beauty that was kind of a big thing was when The Princess and the Frog came out. And that was in 2009, and how it was like a really big thing that like the main character or the princess of this particular Disney movie, or just to have a Disney princess period be a black person, or be a black girl or woman. I never really understand if these princesses are supposed to be teenagers or women. but we'll just say she's a woman, a black woman, and that was like a really big thing. And then I think I read some article where there were some people who were like happy that they could go to Disney on Ice, and there's a black princess skating around that that their daughter or son or whatever could see.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a difference, and it makes you. I guess it helps with feeling like you're a part of the mainstream society, and that you're not just perpetually on the outside from birth. Just having that feeling of alienation.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw recently today they announced that some big ballet company in New York, they're having their first principal African American dancer. I should have her name, but just talking about this, it just makes me think of that. And then, like, I saw a bunch of articles about it, and then I heard her speaking on NPR, and she was saying, it was like an older interview, and, she was like how she's really an anomaly in the ballet world because, she's African American, she's 5'2", and her bust is kind of big. And it's those are characteristics that you don't really see in the elite world of ballet. So even in that world, black people or people of different shades are starting to be represented a little bit more.
Mhm.
So,
well, I mean, a little bit more, but then you have these niggas dying out here right now in the midst of these things going on. I mean, but but even still, even with like I guess the making of the Princess and the Frog, there were still issues with it. I believe the character, it was like the title character or whatever, Tiana. Her name was supposed to be Maddie, I believe. And but of course, Oprah was the one of the consultants, and so they changed the name. It looked like it was Maddie, and she was supposed to be like a chambermaid or something. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It seems like sometimes, no matter how hard you try to really portray, I guess black culture in the mainstream fashion, sometimes it still tends to fall short. Because I mean, look, we have a black man has the highest selling album ever, but he doesn't look black anymore.
Yeah. What's crazy is when it comes to Disney princesses, we've had an Arabic and a Native American Disney princess before we had a black one.
And
a mermaid. Oh, that's right, and Chinese.
No, but was Mulan Chinese? Yeah, this wasn't Chinese.
Yeah, or Asian. I'm not really up on it, but.
Yeah, well, I guess we can just. I guess we can say Asian for lack of a better term.
She wasn't white and she wasn't black, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, and I was talking about this earlier, off air, where it's crazy how we're 13% of the population, but we have such a huge impact on everything in the culture of mainstream society, even though we're not quite accepted. Like, all you see all the time is black, 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 black.
Yeah.
Whether it's for a good purpose or a bad purpose, it's just, to me, something is up with that. Like, why so much focus on black people in the mainstream of things? Like, why so much attention, praise, love, and hate for people who don't even comprise a quarter of the total of the population. You know, like the guy who shot up the church, talking about, you know, black people taking over and raping all our women and stuff like that. Like, how is that even possible? Like, mathematically, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, I maybe this all goes into the, you know, the idea that, you know, that we're still seen as the exotic. You know, and then, you know, we do have this distinct culture for, you know, for obvious reasons. And then even within, I mean, but then I guess it's the same thing with, you know, every other type of culture here, though. But, you know, we came a bit further, something I don't know. But then, you know, even within this African American culture, you still have, you know, African cultures kind of, you know, still interwoven, of course. And then you still have these distinct, you know, just cultures that are just, you know, black and African in nature, like the Gullah culture, and, you know, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, and it seems to me that it's escalating. Like how I was saying before, like just the effect of black people and black culture and society. Like when you have all these tragedies and events, like get the Trayvon Martin thing, and that was like the biggest thing in the world. And then you have all these other things, and then it culminates in the Mike Brown situation. And then when you see that and everything that happened there, it's like, damn, that was huge. And I really didn't think that it could go to another level, but it's gone to so many different levels since then, from Eric Garner to the brother in South Carolina who got shot by the cop who claimed he was trying to tase him and whatever, to, you know, what just happened at the church, to now 6 black churches have been burned in the South. Like, it just keeps escalating higher and higher and higher, and it's like, you know, I was trying to figure out what's going on, what's the impetus for it, and the only conclusion that I can come up with is that the media has spun it, and they have a conscious effort to push it because it's making money, and then by them promoting it, it's spurring more things to happen. Because the guy who shot the people in the church, he said that, you know, he didn't get on his thing until he saw the Trayvon Martin thing, and then started doing the research about black on white crime, and then that's how he ended up, you know, becoming radicalized. And that's all, you know, pretty much, you know, media influence. Well, excuse me. And, you know, I guess to bring it to hip hop, like I was saying before, like, I was looking at the BET Awards and, you know, the Kendrick Lamar performance where he's performing on top of police cars and has people like sitting on top of him and dancing on the police cars and everything like that. And it's like, you know, it's cool. You try and get your message across, and I really liked the song. It was a good performance, but, you know, you're doing this, excuse me. Oh my goodness. You're doing this on an award show for a station that's owned by Viacom, which is a huge multinational corporation. And basically, you're doing this to make them more money, get them more ratings, and get them more advertising dollars. So they promote the bad stuff that happens, and then when people try to do something good, they promote it, and they make money off of it both ways, and they keep promoting it because it's such a hot topic, and it's so controversial and everything like that, and it just seems like a huge money-making enterprise.
Well, you know what's interesting about, like, you know, when the verdict for Trayvon came, and, you know, I was in LA and we were talking, and, you know, I had although, you know, I am by trade a very strong pessimist, but, you know, when I was in LA, to this day, that is just being in that area, you know, it was just the most prejudiced place that I've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
And the irony of this all is that, this was all a university environment.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're always considered to be liberal. And the thing is, when we were all waiting for the verdict to come, it didn't help that, in the midst of me being there, in this liberal place that's supposed to be all great and good, people, going onto the other side of the street, or, having, two women shake, literally like kind of shaking and trembling because they had to be in the elevator with you, or them waiting for another elevator so they don't have to go on the elevator with you. And being in that situation it made me realize the state of race relations. Like, I mean, I knew it was bad, but like sometimes it's like, damn. It's like, if you're in that environment for like, 2 months, and you see this every day, it's like, yeah, like the race relations are like really messed up right now, which certainly didn't help me when it came to Trayvon's verdict. But still, even in the midst of that, yeah, I still didn't see all this going on.
Yeah, I think liberals a lot of times, as much stuff as they talk, they tend to be, to me at least, some of the worst racists in a lot of ways. And it's that whole mindset of, we have to help the poor, underprivileged people who can't speak up and, defend themselves and all of that. And you want to do all this stuff for a good cause and whatever, but because it sounds good. But what are your underlying intentions and what are the motivations behind your intentions? Like, are you doing all this because you see these cultures as inferior and you have to do something to help them?
Mm-hmm.
And like, are you doing it because you feel safe and protected, but then if you're actually on the elevator with somebody, are you going to cower in fear? That's, pretty much unreasonable.
Yeah.
And like, certain types of prejudice, I think, sometimes I think you can't really knock ignorance because it's not necessarily a person's fault.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not exposed to black people and all you're exposed to are certain media images and stuff like that, I can't really fault the person. I have to fault the whole entire system that's creating the, atmosphere for these types of race relations. But then once you're exposed to more things and then or that there's something there to be exposed to and you don't seek it out and learn more, that's when I start to really fault people for it.
I mean, yeah, I try to see it that way, but then sometimes, like, certain things, because that's very true. And, I think everyone, we all have, various, we're all biased and in various ways or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always a certain way in which you should probably carry it out. And, I think being disrespectful, because I think in a way, like, it's like showing like fear and then just by being like, I don't know, just like blatantly disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Are kind of like two different things to me.
Yeah.
In a way. So it's one thing if someone's just being scared of me, which is very annoying, but then when someone, if I'm going to the same place of business that you go to and I have my money is as green as yours and I can't get the same respect, which is something I go through here quite a bit, then something's wrong with that. Because I mean, if you see me in your business, like, okay, it's like what my roommate told me in LA. He said that, even though, there are certain issues with like race in South Carolina or whatever like that, he said that white people will always go out their way to say hi to you or whatever like that. And of course that has to do, I guess, with the southern hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever like that. And so sometimes it's hard for me to just say that it's the system because, this is a person who I'm seeing right now who is doing this directly to me, and it's just totally uncalled for. I mean, you don't have to like me. You know, like I want. What would you say?
I said, but just show you that respect as a human being.
Yeah, pretty much something like that. I mean, you know, I walk down the street and I'm leery of maybe 70% of the people who I walk past, but that doesn't mean if they say something to me, I'm going to just like completely blow them off, you know, just because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, how do you fix it? Because, you know, of course they say, you know, over generations and stuff, this type of stuff is going to go away. But we've had some generations, and it seems like, you know, we're back to churches being burned and getting shot up and, you know, types of things that, you know, I just thought were, you know, something that you read about in history books and not see on contemporary news programs. And it's like, you know, it's very disheartening, and it's kind of scary because it makes you wonder, you know, what is the next step going to be? Like,
yeah.
Like, what's going to happen next? And, you know, I guess Obama, when he was on Mark Maron's podcast, he did kind of make a good point where he was like, you know, he doesn't really, I don't get, like, I'm sorry, I don't have his exact quote, but he says something to the point where, you know, he can't respect when people say that, you know, everything is still the same and race relations haven't gotten better since the 60s or whatever, because, you know, they have improved, but there's still a long way to go. But it's like, even with that improvement, in some respects, there's some steps backward that have been taken as well. And, like, churches being burned, like, at first, you know, the shooting, okay, that's an isolated incident. But when you have 6 churches that are being burned directly after that, you know, I feel like we've taken a couple steps back into the dark ages right there.
I think it can be seen in both ways, because I mean it can be seen as that we took a step back, or it could just be seen as, you know, these people were looking for examples of what they should do, because, you know, maybe they're so, you know, detached from, you know, I guess a long string of racism, for lack of a better term. Like, so like how, like, the guy that shot up the church, you know, he didn't know about any of this stuff until he started reading about it.
Yeah. And
so like, you know, maybe these were people who said, oh shit, well, okay, so we know that black people are evil, so what do we do right now to show this? Okay. And then they go back and be like, oh, okay, they burned churches, let's do that shit. Or, so, you know, something like that. And then it doesn't help that you have the Confederate flag waving around, so they're like, oh, what does this mean? And they'll probably, you know, go back and look at that. But I mean, but even still, you know, I think the Civil War, we just went past the 150th anniversary, I think, but or whatever like that. And that's 1860s. That's still not really all that long. And, you know, me and you know, both of our mothers were born in the 50s, and they remember segregation. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. And then, you know, to take it back a bit further on our grandfather's side, his father or his grandfather was a slave. That is certainly not that far away. Yeah. So I think that's the main thing. But now, you know, even in the midst of like what's going on right now, I think I even said this on the podcast that, you know, once all the old people die, I think racism will finally be over with. But now I'm starting to think maybe not the way I think it'll be. I'm sure it'll probably die down quite a bit, but I don't know. The media does have a lot to do with this, and, you know, how they portray hip-hop to be this evil entity, and they only want good niggas like Common and John Legend to imagine that they are the person who got shot on the face of the street while they sit up. I don't know, man, but I was because did we ever talk about that Oscar thing? When they won that Oscar.
I think we did talk about that, yeah.
You know, I was listening to a very smart brother, you know, Juicy J.
Right.
And on his mixtape, the sequel to Blue Dream and Lean, he has a song called Don't. Now, the thing is, though, knowing it's a mixtape, I'm not sure if they, you know how like those that type mixtapes are, like they'll just have like the first word of the title, whatever like that.
Yeah.
So maybe it's called Don't Shoot, I'm not sure. But anyway, he said the song is about police brutality. And in the beginning, he samples the Common speech or whatever like that. And, you know, and listening to it again and over again since I've listened to the mixtape quite a bit, it kind of, I don't know, something about it just kind of disturbs me. Like, this, like, I don't, it's, you see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I feel like this is what they want you to do. They want you to step out and talk, I don't know, talk about change when there's no change, but it's easier for you to say it because, you know, no disrespect, you know, you have your money and you're quite, you know, you're quite removed from this to a certain extent.
And it's like, it's funny because this is the same dude who did a song for Sada.
Yes, and that's nothing too. It kind of disturbs me about him.
And it's like now you up at the White House, you know, schmoozing and stuff like that. And I guess it kind of goes into that whole, I guess, thing with, you know, Eric Dyson and Cornel West, to where, you know, you'll be all revolutionary, but then once you get the opportunity to schmooze with the powers and stuff like that, you'll start toning your thing down and switching it up and everything like that.
But then but maybe to be fair in Common's defense, you know, remember when he went to the White House and he did a poem or something like that, and he got flack because someone, like some congressman or a bunch of them, they went back and like looked at his history, and I think they went all the way back to like his first 2 albums, and they said, why would you have a thug like that in the White House? Yeah. So to be fair, I mean, you know, stuff like that, Jay-Z, you know, he allegedly says that, you know, he said that, you know, he can't even get into like the most, you know, exclusive golf course, being as rich as he is.
Yeah, I mean, even Oprah, she had her experience in the store, I think in France or something like that.
Oh yeah, about the purse.
Yeah. I guess, you know, you have nigga problems and you have rich nigga problems, but it's still nigga problems.
Well, yeah, that's true. I always
thought it was interesting how, I think Jay-Z, speaking of him, he tried to sign Dead Prez twice, I believe. I know he tried to sign the Rockefeller, and I think he tried to sign the Rock Nation, and it was just like, nah.
Well, how would you feel if Dead Prez signed to Rockefeller or Rock Nation right now?
I mean, I guess as long as they drop a hot record, it's a year, you know, at least once or twice a year, like J Electronica, I wouldn't be too mad, especially after hearing their last album. I think they could use a little work.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, it seems like, you know, Jay-Z, he knows who he's getting. So he knows. So I mean, like the way he's handling J Electronica and pretty much letting him do what he wants to do for the most part. It seems. And I guess because he understands that, you know, these aren't really mainstream artists and they're not going to work like that.
Same thing with like, you know, how he has a J. Cole or whatever, and J. Cole kind of does his own thing the way he does it. And it's interesting because Talib Kweli, he just wrote this long article. It was on something on Inc. Magazine's website, I believe. And he was talking about how, you know, it's getting to a point where artists have to realize that they're not above or separate from the community, but they're part of the community. And he was praising, you know, Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole for, you know, really being a part of the community kinda and just being like your everyday man, I guess, and, you know, doing music for the people that kinda spreads consciousness or whatever. And he juxtaposed in with like a young thug who, when they asked him about Ferguson, he just kind of brushed it off and said he don't really know nothing about that or whatever. But he was like, at least it's good that at least, you know, even still that type of artist is still being asked these questions about what's going on. And he said something about their hair. And, you know, speaking about Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, and just, you know, the way that they wear their hair, it just says something about them and, like, the time or something like that. And it made me think of you and how your hair is and all of that and how, you know, I guess that's the way to kind of show, and, you know, I guess, you know, with my beard or whatever, it's like, you know, the way to show that you're, you know, for the people or something like that. I don't know. It's just, I just thought it was an interesting thing that he was saying about these types of artists, like, who just kind of do their own thing. They wear their hair a certain type of way, and, you know, this is what the new artist revolution is starting to look like.
I mean, I think it really has more so to do with the music because, you know, I'm still going to say this, and I'm not really knocking him. I'm just saying that, you know, I think Lil Wayne really kind of messed up the whole concept of dreadlocks. And, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying, though, I mean, he comes out with these dreads, and between, you know, his reign through, you know, through the dedication mixtapes and, you know, the 3 Carters, and you see these dreads grow. As you see these dreads grow, you see people getting dreadlocks.
Yeah.
At least in our community. And I don't think that's coincidence. And
well,
now,
I guess you would call it the Huey from Boondocks Bush is the new dreadlocks.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. That it's like, you know, it seems like you have like a twist out or like a bush or something like that. Then that's kind of or a big beard. Because I mean, well, it seems like the big beard has kind of been a struggle anyway because of all the people in Philly.
Yeah, but see,
no matter what you've done.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. Like, your beard, it has to be, like, you know, well kept, but not too well kept. Like, it got to be a little wild.
But the thing is, though, look at Freeway. Look at Freeway. His beard is really nice.
Yeah, but it's still kind of wild a little bit. Like, if you look at, like, a Freeway versus a Rick Ross. Like, Rick Ross's beard is too, you know, it's too well kept. Like, it's too shaped up. It's too everything. Like, you know that he's not really out here. I mean, like, you can tell what type of shit he's on from his beard versus, you know, some type of shit that Freeway would be on, or like somebody like a J. Cole or a Kendrick would be on with their hair or something like that, you know?
Well, I must admit, it is a nice beard, I must admit.
Talking about Rick Ross?
Yeah. So, what do you think about...
he got like an industry beard.
Yeah, but, you know, but I don't know. I can't respect... jail is costing me a fortune. I'm losing BET weekend money.
Oh, yeah, you know he didn't get bail. His bail was denied.
Oh, well, I didn't even know that. But I was gonna ask you after I was gonna say what I was gonna say about the bid, about what you think about that. But when it comes to his beard, though, I mean, you know, like whenever I see like a nice, you know, groomed beard, I can respect it because I just know how hard it is to grow them or just maintain them. Especially if you have what combat Jack likes to say, long, coarse, curly hair, and not just come out and say what you really mean.
Yeah.
But what do you think about this, man? This Rick Ross stuff.
Oh man, I mean, I think it's too early to tell what really happened because they said that he beat his cleaning person or some construction worker who was doing some work on his house.
Yeah, his cleanup, I think, either pool guy or gardener or something.
I mean, I wonder what the fuck happened. Like, what made him do that?
Well, I read somewhere that I think this happened the day after they showed the sex tape of his baby mother in court. Or something like that. Like the one that 50 Cent has something to do with. And he's doing commentary as it goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Hold up, man. 50 Cent. Yo. Rick Ross, he's a strong dude. Because 50 Cent did some super asshole shit to him. I mean, 50 Cent really did Rick Ross worse than he did Ja Rule. And Rick Ross came out on top.
Well, I think the thing about Ja Rule was the fact that he was singing.
Yeah. I mean, he was already on a decline. But, this nigga 50 First, he took one of his baby mothers and his child out shopping.
I forgot he did that.
And then gave her a book deal to talk shit about him. And then put out a sex tape of his other baby mother. God damn.
But I'm assuming that, as this baby mother with the sex tape, he was still cool with her or something like that because she went through some kind of mental breakdown after the sex tape or something like that. And he took care of her or something like that. And he put her in the house and everything like that. And I think he was paying for her medical bills. And then when this happened, then apparently he was in a bad mood and he just wanted to take it out on somebody. But the irony of this all is that he looked from, I guess, a strictly Maybach music perspective. Meek Mill comes out and then Rick Ross goes in.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Meek Mill's album is pretty dope too, from what I heard of it so far. But yeah, I don't know, this. It's funny because, when you trace back, excuse me for the coughing, when you trace back the whole history of Rick Ross, I think the reason that he said that, basically the whole thing with him and 50 beefing, he said 50 looked at him wrong or something like that. And real talk, I think the thing that really kept him strong was them damn Lex Luger beats. Because if Rick Ross didn't have BMF and MC Hammer, that's really what built up what Maybach music ended up being.
But remember, he did have, but he had a little run too with his, with that lush instrumentation beat stuff that he was doing. He had that song, what was it called, Maybach Music with Drake?
Yeah, he had Maybach Music and he had the other joint. I think it was one of the last songs on Teflon Don. I think that actually might have come out before BMF, but when that BMF hit.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that run, it probably would have fizzled out after a while, or he would have been some type of, halfway underground type of rapper. But when that BMF hit, man, the world changed.
Teflon Don came out in the midst of right in the midst of the 50 Cent beef, and it was Teflon Don against whatever album that 50 Cent came out with and no one paid attention to.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that one of the main things that probably also helped Rick Ross was the fact that 50 Cent was pretty much dead by the time he got into the beef with him.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. But I guess career-wise, though, like, without them two, because really, matter of fact, those two songs, they were on the Albert Anastasia mixtape, which came out before, and they caught traction off the mixtapes, and then he put them on the album. But, like, he just knocked it out the park with that. And what's funny is 50 Cent, I mean, you know, you say he's kind of, you know, he was kind of dead in the water, but I guess he's kind of like a Diddy, like, you know, 50 Cent never left.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, matter of fact, I heard that he was making some funny Instagram comments about the Rick Ross situation, which I haven't had a chance to look at yet, but I know he said some crazy shit.
Man, like, I think 50 just went too far, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. There's a certain thing you just, I mean, because after a while, like, I was going to say, what's the point of doing it? But apparently, I mean, it keeps him relevant to do these crazy antics.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, at the end of each one of his antics, it's effing vodka, power, Frigo underwear, and SMS audio.
Yeah. But, you know, it's interesting how, like, it seems like nowadays, with a lot of these rappers, the singles that really pop are the ones that tend to be on mixtapes of the songs that they just put out, just for the hell of it, and they never really had much intention on making them like a big thing, or even thought that they were a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, but really, I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you know, organic and, you know, all that good type stuff. Like, excuse me, like, you always hear on Juan Epstein how a song that ended up being a big hit was like the B-side of some other single that, you know, wasn't as good.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's always that sleeper hit that, you know, you might not have put all your effort into promoting, like, this is my radio song. But no, maybe this other song is a radio song, your big hit. So,
well, yeah,
I think one way of doing things that's kind of died out is like what people used to do. It seemed like is they put out a mixtape and then they, you know, let the streets decide what's hot off of it, and then whichever song people gravitate towards, that's the song that they pick for their single and kind of form that album around that song, or those two songs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but then I think there's also a downside of doing that. And then when you say the streets, you really mean the DJ, so it's for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like, you know, the DJs are going to pick what they like, and that's going to influence the people. But then also you got the DJs who are going to ask the people what they want to hear, or they're going to take notice of what people are playing while they're out and about, and they'll start dropping the albums. I mean, dropping the cuts while they're out. So I think it's more of what you call it, a symbiotic relationship to where, you know, I think it goes both ways.
I mean, well, I think to a certain extent it does, but I feel like, you know, based on like the oral history that, you know, that we have about Pharoah and Simon Says from Juan Epstein and Combat that, pretty much Busta Rhymes heard it and he said Flex has to hear this, and Flex liked it so much that he pretty much just put it on the radio and told people that they had to hear this.
Oh man, if only to have that kind of power.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of power, man, and you know, I never really thought about it, but you know, just how like his age and how long he's been in the game, and his name even shows it. Like he has a really dated name, Funk Master Flex.
and he doesn't like he kept it like you don't see any grand wizards out here really popping or nothing like that, or grand masters, but the Funk Master is still going.
Yeah. But you know, like another single, like listening to Juicy J, like on the Breakfast Club interviews that he did during the first run of his album, or during his album run, and him talking about pretty much how it came to be, and that he was just in the studio, like you know, in the hotel room, he recorded the song, and he just decided just to put it out on Twitter, and it became this big thing. And I think he said that people had to tell him that it was like on the radio, so he had no idea. And
what song was it? It was Bands Make a Dance, right?
Yeah, Bands Make a Dance. And he said that it wasn't even ready. Even actually, I think he said that even by the time when he was on the Breakfast Club, his album was about to come out. He said that he wasn't even sure if it was registered with BDS or not. He said he had no idea. He said someone said something about it. He said he forgot about it. And then I think Charlamagne said, well, I know it's on BDS now. And then Juicy J was like, you know, for real, I don't really know. Oh, man. And, I mean, look at him. I mean, the thing is, though, mixtapes have really become albums, though. So what's the point of buying an album when you can get this mixtape, like Juicy J's mixtape? You know, the one that he put out a while back is nothing but an album. Now, the only thing that may not make it an album is the fact that maybe he can't clear certain samples that he used off that he's using.
And that makes the mixtape even better than the album.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have heard that on the album.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just wondering, man, like, because the thing about, I have no idea how his album will be. I think his next album is going to suck, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, when you look at, it's funny too because, you know, when you look at certain rappers, and I guess this is a trend that hasn't really happened a whole lot recently. But it used to be the thing in the late 90s and in the 2000s or whatever, like a hard-ass mixtape and then a weak-ass album. But then I have seen it kind of more recently, like take Meek Mill's first album, for example. Like, the album was pretty whack, but before it, he had Dream Chasers 2, and like a month after, he had Dream Chasers 3. And it's like the only thing people remember off that first album is the intro. But then, Dream Chasers 3, people know Tony's story and, you know, all these different records that were popping off. So, and even like Fabulous, like, you know, how he'll have these hard-ass mixtapes, and then the album would just be a whole bunch of like soft-ass, you know, shooting for radio hits.
But you know, whenever he shoots for radio, he ends up getting radio. It's the amazing thing about Fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing about him is he'll have his radio hits, and his radio hits are actually good. Like I'd rather hear his radio hits than a lot of other people's. But,
yeah, I mean, throw it in the bag wasn't that bad to me.
Excuse me. I mean, I really like the remix. I wasn't really a fan of the first one, but it's like sometimes I feel like his whole album is trying to be radio hits.
Even the last one?
You talking about the Young OG project?
Oh, that was an album?
Yeah.
But the Young OG project, that was like a mixture of like mixtape cuts, right?
I mean, I think he put it, excuse me, he put it out as an album.
Okay, well, no, I'm talking about his last studio album. That was a while ago, almost like 4 years ago now.
That was a long ass time ago.
Yeah, but no, like
I was gonna say they had When the Money Goes on it, right?
Yeah, and pretty much like half of that album was nothing but like Jay-Z throwaways.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it really didn't sound like your typical Fabulous album where like every song has like Lil Mo, Superwoman type shit on it or something like that.
Yeah, it seemed like he was. Excuse me. I think it seemed like he was trying to, I guess make more of an album, since he kind of like doesn't really have that. Because I guess in the hip hop head world, he's able to survive off the mixtapes, his mixtape legacy.
Oh, don't forget about I'm not sure if he made an appearance on Love and Hip Hop.
Don't get me the line. I have no idea. I think he has.
Yeah, because I know his baby mother, his girlfriend, is on there, and whenever I walk past the TV when I'm at home, I hear someone say Fab. So yeah, I'm not sure, but when the money goes, they kept Jay-Z's vocals on there, right? Or did they take them off? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I think they took them off, or if they left them on, they might have just been on the hook.
Okay, all right, because I know they had to do something, because I know when the original one leaked, it was an elaborate song, like a 4-minute Jay-Z song, and then it was cut down like 2.5 minutes for Fabulous.
Yeah. And that was supposed to be that was like an American Gangster throwaway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder who made that beat though, because it didn't sound like a JD beat or Sean C and LV one.
I don't know. It kind of sounded like Sean C. LV to me a little bit. Just maybe not as fleshed out.
I mean, well, I think the drum, or if anything, maybe the drums, but it just sounded too synthy. Like there wasn't any type of like live instrumentation or samples that I could hear.
Let's see. When the money goes, will the honey stay? Let's see who produced this record. Producer. Jermaine Dupri and Sammy Wolf.
No, so it must have been Sammy Wolf. Because I just can't see JD making something like. But I know the Sims sound like JD, if anything. But so I meant to ask you. So are you doing any? Is your job or someone? Are they doing anything for 4th of July?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, they're doing a 4th of July, I guess, potluck. So, we all come and wear our red, white, and blue. And I guess bring a good old American dish. And, of course, the email for it came from someone who is, retired military. And my whole thought was, man, we should have had a Juneteenth potluck. But if I do bring something, I think I'm going to bring some curry, red beans, and rice.
I mean, well, I don't think people will be mad at that. I mean, because red beans and rice are very American nowadays.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, will you make it from scratch, or would you get like some Zatarans or something?
I was just going to get some beans out of a can, drain them, throw the curry in there, do the microwave rice, mix it up, call it a day.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you don't got to do too much for these people, but I'm curious. So when you go into work, how many black people do you see? By the time your day's over?
A good amount. Probably like half the office is probably black. Let me see. When I walk into work, maybe a little bit less than half the office. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's less than what I thought. So that's 5 right there. That's just walking in. And then it's probably like another 5 to 10 more. Maybe like 5 to 7 more that I see throughout the course of the day, just in passing. I say like 10 more. I see a good amount of black people. In terms of black males, though, because it's like pretty much all women, it's like 2 other black dudes. One of which who, that same weird white guy keeps getting me confused with, so he keeps calling me Jay, even though I don't have dye in my beard.
Oh, so he called you Jay?
Yeah, it's the other black dude's name.
Okay, damn. Like, sometimes whenever I'm in that situation, I try to decide if I should, like, correct them, like, really quick. But then I don't want to come off as, like, some type of weird asshole.
Well, see, I don't want to engage in conversation any longer than what I have to. So I just try to exit the situation and leave you with whatever it is that you think is going on with my name.
I mean, I remember I told you about the occurrence I had here when I guess he was some type, I don't know what he was, but he mistaken me for someone else, and he said, so you told me, you were in philosophy, right? And the thing was, though, I figured whenever someone comes up to me and they talk to me, they start talking to me and having a conversation, and I don't know them, I pretty much know why they're talking to me. Although sometimes I've been wrong. A lot of times I've been wrong because I just really don't know who they are. But yeah, with him, so you're in such and such, and I'm like, no, you're thinking about, so and so. And this guy's like, oh my God, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. And I'm like, it's okay. And he's like, no, it's not okay. It was he was on some type of liberal shit after a while. It was funny though because I was at some type of weird conference and we're talking about, it was based around race and trying to figure out the problems with race. And in the midst of us having this conversation, there was like someone up on stage talking about what needs to be done with race and how everyone just needs to be coming together and get to really know each other or something, some liberal shit. And in the midst of the woman, her words were reverberating coming through the speakers outside of the area. He's like, oh my God, see, this is what we're talking about race. And I did it, and all this and that, and, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, it's okay. He's like, no, it's not okay. I'm like, well, I said, you have a good day, sir. Yeah, don't call me sir. And I'm like, well, okay, I wasn't, I didn't see it as kind of a racial thing. I said, I would, think that you would call me sir as well. He's like, oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're sir. Or so, then that's a whole big complicated thing. So after that issue, I kind of figured that maybe I should try to stay away from correcting people and all this other type of stuff.
I mean, that goes to this whole thing that's going on right now, especially in the comedy world of political correctness. And, especially coming from the liberal side, and how a lot of times you try to be politically correct and you end up, looking like an asshole and end up sounding more racist or, just ignorant about whatever it is that you are trying to stay away from. So
you sound like the last one Epstein episode.
That's right, they did talk about it on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's sitting there trying to be all politically correct. You know, sound like a dickhead. Like, don't call me so. Like, he's being polite.
Yeah, and but that's the thing. Like, but like me trying to correct his political correctness in a way kind of made me seem as an asshole. Like, well, at least I feel that way. But I was really trying to say it's okay. It's not a big deal. I get it all the time. I don't really, you know, it doesn't really affect me the way it probably maybe should. But then at the same time, you know, I get people mixed up, you know.
And the thing too is, he is trying to tell you how you should think.
Well, yeah.
Like, he's telling you.
Man.
Like you're telling him something is okay from your experience as a black man, and this white man is telling you that you're wrong about your own experience. And you are an educated black man. You're an educated black man, and a white man is going to tell you that you're wrong about your own experience, about something being okay or not.
Hey, technically, I go through that quite a bit, and I'm not talking about outside of like study. You know, like I've talked to certain people, and you know, I had one person, you know, he said, well, if this was in the midst of, God, you know, this is sad. It's 2015, and I'm getting, you know, and I can't keep up with, you know, the certain period dates or whatever when like when a black person got shot. I'm assuming it was probably Ferguson. And somehow, some way, because I was in the circle, I guess they felt that it was best to have a car. No, it wasn't. It was based on what happened here, actually. All the, you know, the race, that SAE thing that happened. And, I guess because I got into the circle, you know, people wanted to talk about that. Because I guess to make me feel better and to make me think that they are these super liberal people who love every race. And, you know, they were talking and whatever like that. And, you know, I said something, I put my 2 cents in because they, you know how you're like in that type of that situation, and pretty much they're talking because they want to see what you think, although they don't make it seem that way.
Yeah. And
so I'm learning. I've become more blunt about it. You know, sometimes like, yeah, something you white motherfucker, something like that. So pretty much I'm like, yeah, you know, I walk through here every day. You know, I experience, you know, some type of racism. This is a regular thing. And so I said that, you know, someone was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. But come on, I mean, I'm sorry to say, man, it's your hair. Now, I could have went a bit further, but something told me not to do it based on the environment I was in and who I was talking to, so I just let it go. But I wanted to say so bad, and maybe I will say it next time because I don't have much patience no more. I'm getting tired. You know that, well, I'm saying, I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry to tell you that I was going through the same thing when I had my hair cut. So I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Oh man, that's the quiet revolution of a tired black man.
I mean, it is, but see, the irony is though, well, knock on wood, I've never had any issues with cops having this hair. I've only had issues with cops when I've had my hair cut. And I think sometimes sometimes my hair deters people because, you know, he's like, oh, he's probably one of those revolutionary black people, and if I fuck with him, he's going to have, you know, Al Sharpton and the fruit of Islam on me or something like that. and I'm dead serious when I say that. I really think that. So I don't know what to say, but I know that sometimes, a lot of times, you know, some of the worst things that I went through dealing with cops or whatever like that, I had my hair cut. And I wasn't all that young. So I don't know. It's an interesting world we live in.
It is an interesting world, man. Damn. Like, it's funny because, you know, I think it's like an interesting thing when you talk about, I guess, putting fear into the cops of, you know, what type of Negro you are, because, you know, when you approach cops in a certain type of way, like, when you're very respectful and all that, but you're also confident, you know, you look them in the eye and stuff, and you speak to them as if they're like a person. You know, you get a different type of reaction sometimes. You know, like when I guess you can tell when they feel like you know some shit. And, you know, the way that they deal with you versus, you know, without. And I guess with the hair, you don't have to necessarily open your mouth. It's kind of like, it just shows on you, like, don't mess with me, because you got another thing coming, Mr. Officer.
Well, I forgot to tell you. So, I was walking somewhere, and I was on the phone with my mother, and I saw this cop pull over this Hispanic guy. He looked Hispanic. So he, you know, he pulls over. He turns into like this parking lot that I always walk past, and so I stopped and I was just standing there, and I told my mother, I said to be quiet real quick because I was looking at this officer pull over this Hispanic guy. Of course, you know, the cop is white, and it was funny too because when I think the guy who was sitting, it's kind of weird because like where I was, there was this like a bench under this tree, but it's like kind of like a love seat looking thing, and there was like this one white guy reading the newspaper, older white guy. And so I think he overheard me say that, and so he started looking at it. So we were just standing there looking at this guy, and it seemed like it was a rather, you know, a civil exchange. There wasn't anything that I noticed, but I figured that I would just stand there and see what would happen. And I noticed that the cop, he noticed me, and so he was looking back at me like the whole time. So he would kind of like do it like a double take looking at me. And then so I figured after a while, I said, I guess there's nothing going on. So then I started walking, and then I come back. I come back the next day. I come back up. You know, the car's gone, but I noticed that the car had its lights on. The car had the lights on, but like the car was all tinted though. Like it was like really dark tint, so I couldn't see inside. And I just found it kind of weird because it didn't move. Like it was in the same exact spot where he pulled up. He got pulled over by the cop. And I don't think the engine was on. I mean, it was kind of weird. So I have no idea what happened to this dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
I feel like in the current climate. Do you feel like it's a civic duty to monitor the police?
I think to a certain extent, yeah. And, you know, when I say that, it harkens back to, you know, like, you remember how you would see like a movie or something like that, maybe like a comedy, and it'll be some type of like nerdy dude or whatever like that, and he'll say, "Oh, I'm putting you under civil arrest." Yeah. Or some dumb shit like that. Yeah, and then they just kind of brush it off. Yeah. Citizen's arrest, which actually is kind of a real thing.
Yeah.
And so it kind of reminded me of that. So it seems like something that white people do to a certain extent, or at least this is what it's been portrayed in white culture, at least. So I think, you know, I guess the idea of citizen's arrest and I guess my own amusement.
I mean, you know, the whole thing here in Baltimore is that the cops feel restricted because whenever they try to do something, a whole bunch of people are around them with cell phone cameras. And, like,
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and, like, part of the whole revolutionary training or whatever that's going on, you know, they tell you now, make sure your phone is charged when you go out. If you record any police activity, make sure you're zoomed all the way out. Don't zoom in because it makes it hard. Like, it's like a whole list of shit that you do so that you can be prepared to, monitor and record the police.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it's interesting, it's interesting to see how things are mobilizing now in a way that they haven't in so long. Like, now people have tactics and strategies of how to, kind of fight for freedom and justice and equality in their own way.
Yeah, I mean, but even with this whole thing with the people watching the cops, and technically, these are your tax dollars at work.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure it's pretty legal that if I went over there and said, "What are you doing?" I don't think it's really out of my jurisdiction to really ask him that. But the thing is, though, there's just this, and we've talked about this before. This rule that just remains unsaid that that a black person has to stay in this place when it comes to the cops. You just can't do certain things. It's not good to walk around at night. I mean, I know when I walk around campus at night, I'm coming from the library 1 o'clock in the morning with a big. It's just I don't know. This is what kills me. But I guess from the outside looking in, I could have a bomb that will destroy the entire world, or something. I don't know. But if I'm walking with a big, this is my thing. If I'm walking with a big ass book bag, it's pretty oversized. I have it slung over my back or whatever like that. There has to be something in there, and you see me, and I'm walking. The path I'm walking in is the path that goes to the library. And being a cop on campus, that the library closes at 2 o'clock in the morning. What am I doing? But no, I'll see a cop. It's every time. It is kind of annoying. A cop car will come at speed, and then it'll start slowing down just to look at my ass. When I just got done looking at, a book for 2-3 hours.
And it's like they're not doing this for anybody else.
Yeah, they don't do it for anyone else. And I was thinking about what you said about the interview that I just recently had. Yeah. And based on the outcome, what you said makes a lot more sense now.
Hold on, what did I say again?
Pretty much you said that I made myself seem a bit too intelligent, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
Yeah, you start dropping all that knowledge and stuff like that. People don't want to deal with you. You're one of them uppity Negroes.
That's the thing. I mean, you would think you would want someone to know that's interested in knowing more about the liquor industry, or knowing about ordinance and I can't even say the word, or liquor licenses.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think that's the quality of a poor leader, because you look at stuff like the laws of power and all that. You want to get somebody smarter and keep them under you and have them work for you and take the credit. You don't want to push them away.
Yeah, but then the thing is though, then why did he put me on the spotlight about my research? See, this is the thing that started to piss me off though. People are more interested in me than they are about what I can do for them. Like the same thing with with the church.
Right.
She wrote down the ideas that I had for the children. Wrote it down, clipped pretty much everything I said, like on some Motown, Berry Gordy type shit, and just took it and probably just ran with it. And for all I know, it's probably implemented in the general fabric of their lesson plans now.
For free.
Yeah, for free. And all they had to do was sit and talk with my black ass for 30 minutes. So I mean, but then like I was talking with my mother. It's like I was telling her about like how I like walking around here, whatever like that. And I'm just noticing certain things now. To be fair, I will say that maybe this is just in my head, but I notice certain things. Like if I'm at a liquor store, and this is one thing that I noticed, I can't get eye-to-eye contact with someone at the cash register. I'll go up. And, we'll say, oh, okay, thanks. Next person comes up who's white. Oh, thank you. Have a good day. With eyes pop open and everything. Stuff like that. I mean, and it's not just at the liquor store. And it's usually it's with certain people. It's not with everyone in that store. There's certain ones. Even like if I go to a coffee shop. And like the coffee shop with certain people, I really don't think this is a coincidence. Like, I'm waiting for my drink. Two people come up. Thanks, have a good day. Thank you, have a good day. Switching it up, everything. Their eyes popped open, looking at them, getting them eye contact. I come up. I go there every, more than once a week. I go up there. I'm like, thank you. And oh, thanks. Like a soft thanks. Kind of like on the same level as the scarf hand. Stuff like shit like that, and this happened in a lot of stores I go to. And I had the same money. And it's 2015. And so I told my mother that, and she was like, maybe you should think about coming back to the East Coast. And I know, and I know, thinking about how she's thinking, she's probably, she's already probably half paranoid because, everything's looking like the rides from the 60s anyway. And, stuff like that and what's going on. So she'd probably rather me come back up north anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much you can do,
Yeah, but the thing about eye contact, it just kind of it kind of just baffles me. Like, what's so hard about getting my eye contact?
Yeah, your magical nigger eyes. Like, put a nigger spell on them. Make them stop.
Shit, maybe, I don't know, maybe, but I don't know, something has to give about these race relations going on right now. Get too old for this.
I mean, I guess more black men need to start fucking white women. Black women need to start fucking white men, and there's your race relations right there.
It's funny because a lot of these things are really rampant in hip hop. These ideas of, all this interracial love and everything like that. I mean, even down to the red bones to a certain extent. All this talk about red bones. They smoke. They smoke so much that they look Asian. And they sniffing white girl while they have a white girl, like how Juicy J says.
Yeah.
And it's funny though, like you look at his Twitter though, like look at his pictures that he puts up of his concerts. There's nothing but white people.
Nothing but.
So maybe looking at Juicy J gives me hope for the future, and that when all the old people die, maybe there will be something that changes.
Yeah, I mean, Juicy J, the Academy Award winner.
Yeah, or even like Schoolboy Q's the album cover to his first album, and I think that album cover is either revolutionary or counter-revolutionary. I don't know, but it was an ill album cover though. You remember it?
You talking about for which one? Setbacks or for Habits and Contradictions?
Yeah, Habits and Contradictions. That was the second album?
It's so hard to really tell what the album is these days, but yeah, that was like his second one.
Well, yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it now.
That was a dope album cover, and I don't know. And see, the thing is, I don't know if that was like a statement or what. I have no idea. I would love to know.
I mean, just like with all art, it's up to the interpretation, and I think that the title of the project kind of tells you right. Excuse me. The title of the project kind of tells you, you know, right there. It could be taken a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if I had to say, I think that was like the, I guess between that and the ASAP Rocky's cover, I think those are the two hardest album covers I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, the ASAP joint is, excuse me, it's kind of dope, especially how he had Yam's little face mark on there.
Yeah.
Starting to give out. Oh man, I think we probably wrap this up.
All right, cool.
I guess in closing, for you, the listeners of the Channel 10 podcast, just want to remind you that Audible is offering a free audio book download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out the service. I recommend that you check out Race Matters, since that's what we're talking about, by Cornell West. It's a dope book right there. Check it out by going to audibletrial.com/channel10. Once again, audibletrial.com/channel10. And we out.
Peace.
Feeling is here.
Yeah, son, you feel it, man. Word up, son. You gotta just do it, yo.
CNN.
Yo, word up, man. It's a different channel, son. Word up, on, man. Word up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man.
It's all good.
Word up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Word up, yo. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, it's grown men. Bold face, gat in your face. Stay in place, yo. Crime lace. Cats more beef than Scarface. CNN, Network, Channel 10.